Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video on how my league start is going. This is Monday morning. I haven't really touched the game yet today. This is just what I've done so far on the opening weekend. And if we look at my maps, you can see that I've done all non-unique maps. This is all done. Maybe it's easier to see here. This was all solo, so the build is functioning just fine. I had no real issues completing the Atlas. I'm level 91 now, coming up on 92. I kind of stopped pushing because I was rank 14 Chieftain on the ladder, and this is despite that I was being nerfed by the Soul Mantle bug. I had a lot less damage than I was supposed to. This is my first time league starting Chieftain, and it's a pretty experimental build, so I'm feeling like I'm doing pretty good. Anyway, at this point, I'll just hop into a map, and I'll keep talking while I'm going, so that you have something to watch while I'm talking. So for getting my build rolling, the Black Star dropped a Polaric Devastation for me. That's the ring that covers in Ash or covers in Frost, depending on what you're doing. And that sold for 3.5 Divine. So I used that. I spent my first 4 Divine on a 6-link Soul Mantle, and that kind of got me rolling. I mean, I was already in tier 14 at that point, I think, when you fight Black Star, right? Or tier 13, something like that. I'm just kind of looking at my notes, and it's distracting me while I'm trying to clear this ritual. But what else? I did Katarina early because, like I said in my last video, I rushed Betrayal, so I was able to get Katarina really early. And she dropped a Devouring Diadem. That was pretty lucky. I sold that for another 3.5 Divine. And then I spent my next 4 Divine on Aegis Aurora, and you can see I'm pretty tanky now. I can kind of just like stand in the middle of packs, and they can't really hurt me. Like I can just walk up here and stand here, and I won't take any damage. I took a little bit. Oh, I'm getting kind of low. Okay, I can use a flask, but like I'm never really in any risk. That was me just standing there AFK. I wasn't pressing any buttons until I used the flask. So pretty tanky, and this is a tier 14 map. This is like there's damage here. I mean, there's no real damage bonds on the map. It's a pretty light map as far as mods, but it is tier 14. What else is there to talk about? Oh, my next big luck drop, not really a drop, was I corrupted a bunch of jewels, of rare jewels, because there's a challenge to corrupt different types of rare jewel, and I got a perfect Seething Fury, so I sold that for 1.7 Divine. So that was pretty good. And then I bought Arn's Anguish. This was, I think, 20 cast. I bought that early on because I needed to fix my damage because Soul Mantle wasn't working. So I thought, well, how can I easily get some damage? And Arn's Anguish was one of those ways. I'm getting frozen, and I'm not using my flask because I'm looking over at my notes and talking at the same time, so I'm not really paying attention. But like I said, I'm tanky enough that I don't really have to pay attention. So this build is working quite well. Next purchase I made was I bought a pretty good Eternal Struggle for about 60 chaos. The 2 max resist while a unique enemy is in your presence is pretty much 2 max resist anytime it matters. Here's a Harbinger boss. These things are pretty crazy now. I've noticed that fracturing orbs are extremely rare. I've done a lot of Harbingers. I've only seen 4 fracturing shards, not even orbs, just shards. And last time I checked, fracturing orbs were about 2 Divine each, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go up with how rare these are, and with how much people are going to want to fracture items. This is like one of the few things that actually could kill me if I don't be too careful, because there's a lot of damage in these things. What else? I'm looking over my notes, so we'll see if I die, maybe not. Oh, that's Eternal Struggle gives me just enough mana reservation that I can run all 4 of my current auras. My next aura will be Zealotry, but that's far away. I need Cluster Jewels for that. I need Ashes for that. That's not anytime soon. I'm running all of the core auras that I was planning on running. I have exactly enough mana to cast my totem, which is a little annoying. It means I can't really spam my totem. Actually, I want to grab this Jewelers, and I want to grab this flask because I really need Glassblower's baubles right now. I'm really low on those. What else? Like, I really need to fix my flasks. I haven't, like, automated most of my flasks yet because I just don't have the glass blowers baubles. I also want to start using an amethyst flask because chaos resist is the one thing that's been catching me. I have positive, but not very much. So yeah, I'm thinking about using an amethyst flask just temporarily. What else? What else? This chilled ground is pretty annoying. It's making me really slow while I'm reading notes. I'm hoping to like move between packs and stuff while I'm reading notes, but the chilled ground is slowing me down a lot. I don't have my Pantheon stuff done yet. I haven't done any of those, so I'm not really immune to chill. I don't have any chill reduction. Oh yeah, I mentioned cluster jewels. I did buy a cheap cluster jewel because it was one thing that I could do to get good damage. I bought a cluster jewel and just crafted on it, and I hit a notable that I wanted. This is like the most important notable for me. And I got some chaos resist on the small passes, and I decided that's good enough for now. But I will definitely upgrade that later on. What else? Oh, the league mechanic. So right now, let me just give an example, first of all. The league mechanic has been so hard for me to clear. I mentioned in the last video that I can't really see anything while these totems are shooting everything. I was talking with my guild, with my friends, about you know, the rewards for the mechanic, clearing the Sanctum, all that. And I said that if the Sanctum told me that I would get 50 mirrors for clearing the Sanctum, I wouldn't pick that option. Because clearing the Sanctum is a fairy tale. At least that's how I felt about it before. And I'm making progress to make it less of that. But what I've been doing, and I'm not going to do the Sanctum in this map, because what I've been doing is I've been rushing Sanctum in like tier 1 to 4 maps and just doing it there. Because when you have enough damage to clear the Sanctum fast, then it's easy. Then it's actually like, you can actually get through it pretty easily. So I think that's the play. If you're struggling with the Sanctum, go into low tier maps, go into like tier 1 maps, scoured maps. They don't have to be rolled at all. Just do rooms in low tier Sanctums just so you can rush it down really fast, and build up your relics that way. Like start getting some early game, what are they called? Sanctified relics or Sanctum relics, whatever. Because those make the Sanctum easier. You like, if you build those up step by step. Oh, that was a lot of damage. If you build those relics up, then it becomes a lot easier. I should build some towers probably. We can just do ice and minions here, right? Let's do this and this and this. Maybe another ice. That should be fine. This chilled ground is really annoying. I didn't really think about that when I rolled this map. Those big pops I'm getting when entire packs are dying, that's from Infernal Cry. I mentioned that in my last video. It's a really nice skill for when your primary skill doesn't really have that great of clear. You could just throw Infernal Cry on your build. Yeah, so far, to me, okay, the league mechanic, I don't want to be too down on it because, like I mentioned in my last video, I like the idea. It has potential. It's just executed kind of poorly, I think, or it needs to be easier to like build up those early relics, because I wasn't getting any. I don't have like any of them yet. The only ones I have are like they give like, sometimes you get double coins, and that's it. I don't have like anything that's actually useful. So clearing the Sanctum is basically impossible. And I've done a lot of Sanctum attempts. And because of this, to me so far, even though, like I mentioned in my last video, Ultimatum was my favorite mechanic ever. My favorite league mechanic ever was Ultimatum, because I like when league mechanics give me meaningful choices based on risk-reward. But the risk is skewed so high in this mechanic that this has been the least profitable league mechanic for me ever. Ever. I've played since Warbands, and this has been the least profitable league mechanic ever. That's including like Prophecy, Anarchy, like it's got potential. It just another problem that this would have helped a lot. This probably would have made it a lot smoother. Is there's a bit of a failure of UX design in it, in that you need to do the quests in Act 2 and Act 7 to even unlock the ability to get the things you need from the Sanctum, to even get the ability to like drop relics. And there's nothing really pointing you at that. Like, sure, the NPC is in the town, but if you don't talk to her, you never learn that. If let me go into the Sanctum real quick. I'm not going to actually grab this room. I just want to show you. Let's say you went in here and you clicked on the map. If there was a slot down here, in fact, I don't even have the Sanctified Relic slot yet, but if there was a slot down here that was grayed out and it said like packed, and then you could hover over it and see go to Act 7 to unlock packed, that would be great. That would be fine. But currently, there's just nothing pointing you in the right direction. There's nothing. I'm kind of pathing really inefficiently here because I'm ranting. Yeah, there's just like there's so many little problems with the Sanctum, and this league mechanic has so much potential to be potentially the best mechanic ever. And I've seen, and that's why I'm so disappointed, right? Like, this has been the worst league mechanic experience for me when I was expecting potentially the best. And I still think it has the potential to be the best. It just needs some minor fixes, minor adjustments. I've seen the rewards for full Sanctums that people have posted, and it seems really weak. Like, I've seen people post, oh, I did a full Sanctum and I got 20 Chaos and 2 Divines. A full Sanctum is 30 maps. If we want to compare it to Lake of Calandra, which is a league mechanic that everyone hated because of how supposedly unrewarding it was, in 30 maps, you could get 2 to 3 full Lakes of Calandra crafted. And if you were decent at planning them, like if you were even a little bit decent at planning them, almost every tile on those lakes would be more rewarding than those full Sanctums that are being posted. Sorry, that's not quite the full Sanctums, but you would get I died. I lag spiked there and just exploded because I was having a bit of a brain fart. Okay, it's not every tile. It's a lot of the tiles in those lakes would be more rewarding than entire Sanctums. Like, when I played Lake of Calandra last league, and I played that league more than any league I've actually played before, I got more pure Divine Orb drops from Lake of Calandra than anywhere else, than any other content in the game. I got more Divine Orb drops from Lake of Calandra than any other content in the game. And yeah, this is really dangerous, having the Harbinger on that tight of an island. Yeah, I'm tanky, but I'm not invincible. I should have vendored a bit while I was in town. Why do I have this? What else? Yeah, so I don't know. I think they've missed the mark somewhere on this league mechanic, but it's still. I still want them to fix it. I want it to be good because I like the idea a lot. Anyway, that's enough complaining about the Sanctum because there's good things to talk about, and I don't want to just complain. And I might speed up parts of the video where I'm just kind of looking over at my notes and... Oh, Soul Mantle is finally fixed. I forgot to mention that earlier when I talked about the Soul Mantle bug, but Soul Mantle is fixed. It is cursing me now when my totems die. So that gives me a lot of extra damage, but because I don't have enough mana to spam totems, it's not perfect for me yet. I need to get more mana. I have an Enlighten leveling up, so once that levels to 3, then I should be pretty solid. Oh yeah, I had the new div card drop, the one that's like 12 cards for 7 divines, I think. And it drops from the boss of mineral pools. And I don't know if that was just like a random drop and it happened to drop there, or if that's actually just where you farm that card. And if that is where that card drops, that is GGG straight trolling. That is them saying, oh, you didn't like Lake of Kalander because it's like the mineral pools layout? Here you go. Go farm more mineral pools. Like, that is straight up trolling if that's actually the source of that card. All right, I'm going to hop back out of this map now, deposit some currency, and just kind of go over some other thoughts I've had. So my next purchases for this build are better cluster jewel, because like I said, this one is kind of a mess, but it's usable. If I get a cluster jewel with the conjured wall notable, that'll save me 3 passive points, because I'm taking these points just for spell block, and conjured wall will give me enough spell block that I don't need to take those. Then my next purchases are probably Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh for Unbreakable. Those are really expensive. I looked them up. One was 5 divine, one was 15. So that's a bit of a chase. And then my last big purchase probably is Ashes of the Stars. But this Eternal Struggle will carry me for a while. This is fine for now. And then at some point along the way, I will craft better rare gloves and boots, because these are just not very good. I crafted some decent rares and I was like, okay, good enough. Oh, and a helmet too. I need a better helmet. But these are rare crafts that I'll replace at some point. As it stands right now, I'm resist capped. I could stand to get more life. That would help with the sometimes getting popped like by that Harbinger in that map. So some other thoughts on the league so far. One thing that people have talked about quite a bit is the Headhunter buffs, where you sometimes randomly get a Headhunter buff from a monster. And I saw DS Lily tweet on this yesterday, but even before that, when we first saw the Headhunter buffs, like our group that plays, we all kind of play solo, but we hang on Discord and just talk while we're playing. We all kind of noticed those Headhunter buffs around the same time, and immediately, as soon as I noticed that, I said, that's a bad idea, because that will brick builds. And my example that I used, and I don't even know if this exists, but my example was, imagine you were playing a build that has to have 0 energy shield for something to function, and then you get the aura that gives you 4,000 energy shield, and now your build doesn't work because you killed a monster. It's just a bad idea. I get that they want to have fun with it, but it's a bad idea. Sorry, it's just a bad idea. And then the next day, one of the guys in our group, he was dying to reflect and couldn't figure out why. And I knew why. And it was because those Headhunter buffs, a lot of them are you gain physical as elemental. And he was dying to elemental reflect, even though he was a physical build with brutality. He's a physical build that can't deal elemental damage, but his shield charge could. His movement skill could deal elemental damage because it wasn't linked with brutality. So he was dying to elemental reflect on a pure physical build, because the Headhunter buff just snuck its way into his build that he didn't want. And it was pretty obvious that was going to cause problems. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, there's a life mastery now that gives nearby enemies have 50% reduced life regeneration rate, and I think I have it right here. If you combo this with Frostbomb, just like carry a rank 1 Frostbomb in your inventory, if you're doing Maven, these two together make it so that the bosses cannot heal. Just take that mastery, take a rank 1 Frostbomb, cast the Frostbomb on the boss, and the Maven cannot heal them for 5 seconds, as long as the Frostbomb debuff lasts. So you just recast it once in a while. You could just keep recasting Frostbomb on cooldown, and it will stay up all the time. It's 100% uptime. Really, really strong if you're struggling with dealing enough damage through life regen. Even not on Maven, even if you're just running into like harvest monsters that have life regen, you can use this combo, and then they can't regen at all. What else? I did a couple Shaper and Elder Guardian maps, and I have more of them. I think maybe I have Elder Slayer map. I love them now. I love how the Guardians just explode into a pile of influenced items. I love that change. It's amazing. Another pretty exciting thing that happened to me is I found an incredible Ventor's Gamble. And let me just bring up the image for it. Here it is. This sold for 1 divine, and I'm certain it was worth more. I know this was worth more, but it wasn't selling at 2 divine, and I just wanted to get my currency rolling so I could get my character up and running. But I'm certain if I waited, this could have sold for way, way more. This is an incredible roll on Ventor, so this was pretty exciting. You know, it's pretty rare that you drop a Ventor's Gamble and you get a Divine Orb out of it, even if this was probably worth more than that. And there's one last thing I wanted to talk about, which was how good Breach is right now. I'm actually just going to hop into a tier 4 and look for the breach. I want to scour this just to show you how crazy breach is. On scoured tier 1 maps, I'm pulling out 30 splinters sometimes from a single breach. So this is a scoured tier 4. I'm just going to look for the breach. I'm not going to... Oh, here's a breach. Okay. So I am fully spec'd into breach. Oh, well, not fully, but almost fully. I'm fully spec'd into betrayal, breach, harbinger. So if I open this breach, and I'm a totem build. I'm not even a good build for doing breach. This is this is an awful layout for breach, but we'll see. Oh, and I missed the Tull hand there. So if I grab all these splinters, and this is Tull, so like it's not that exciting, but sometimes these are Chiula, sometimes they're Ulnatul. I'm stuck on a wall because of Leap Slam. So remember, this is a scoured tier 4 map. I picked up 17 splinters of Tull in a single breach and 3 scarabs. Breach is really, really strong right now. Yeah, that was also an awful layout for breach. So on a more open map where you can actually move around and grab all of the clasped hands, you're going to get a lot more splinters. And every time you open a clasped hand, because of this notable right here, opening what those has a chance to spawn the boss. And then the boss has a chance to drop entire breach stones, which can be pure breach stones because of this. So sometimes you just click on one of those, kill the boss, and then get a pure breach stone. Which is pretty rare. It's about 1 in 500, which is rare, but that's the jackpot, right? 1 in 500 for the jackpot is fine when there's also these other chances for it to just be a breach stone or a charged breach stone. Or just the fact that whenever you spawn a boss in a breach and kill it, it always drops 20 splinters. So you spawn a Chiula, get 20 Chiula splinters. It's great. Breach is fantastic right now. I love the changes. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. I am going to cut it here because it's getting really long. And I'm going to start working on pushing guardians and bosses, and we'll see where I go from there. My damage is a little bit low right now, but I think once I get those upgrades that I talked about in this video, I will be just fine. So let me know how your league start is going, if you're having fun, what you think of the league mechanic. If you disagree with me on the league mechanic, let me know. Yeah, that's it for today. Have a great day.